Hello sports lovers, welcome to the most authoritative boxing channel here on YouTube. I'm Med, and in today's episode I shall be seeking to bring you clarification in the ongoing saga between Canelo Alvarez, undisputed middleweight champion of the world, and Terence Crawford, undisputed welterweight champion of the world. Terence Crawford has taken to Twitter in order to suggest to the general public that Canelo Alvarez is a hypocrite or is afraid of losing to him. But Terence Crawford has stated it doesn't matter the weight class in which he faced Canelo Alvarez, he will still beat him. But first of all, before I bring you clarity on this particular episode, do me a favor by subscribing to the channel. If you have not pressed the bell icon, please do press the bell icon so you are the first to watch our videos, and also press the thumbs up button and like the video. Express your views in the comment section and share so others can enjoy. But first, let me start off by bringing you Terence Crawford had with Hot 97
out there that could really provide that for you, that B-side, if you will, for a big fight besides Charlo?
I don't know. You know, Charlo holds all the belts at 154. I hold all the belts at 147. Me and Errol Spence was the two top welterweights in the division. That was the biggest fight of, this decade. That was a fight that's been marinating for 5 years. I don't see nobody else on that level of Terence Crawford, Errol Spence, besides Canelo, and he fights at 168 plus. So I don't see me and him fighting. So
what's the highest you could fight at realistically?
I would say 154 realistic.
154.
You know,
so
them boys get big up there. Them boys get big up there. And I'm not a person to, toot my own horn too loud to be able to say, oh, well, I can beat the world. You know, I understand there's weight classes for a reason, and I respect the weight.
So you all heard Terence Crawford saying the realistic weight he can go up a further is the 154 division, where Jermell Charlo is, and where he has stated he wanted to beat Jermell Charlo. What happened? Now he is chasing clout at 168. What happened? He even said them boys are big up there, and he is not the guy that will blow his own horn that he can beat the world. He is not that kind of person. What changed? Terence Crawford, what changed? In that same interview, he says something about Tank Davis. I'll bring you that, but let's go on to his post-fight press conference.
Andreas here from the Sporting News. Just talked to Errol. He said he hopes to get the rematch, and he would like to have the rematch at 154 pounds. Are you interested in moving up in weight for the rematch, or does it have to be at 47?
It definitely don't have to be at 47. Like I said, I'm in a hurt business. 47 was kind of hard for me too. I was already talking about moving up in weight and challenging Charlo, so 54 wouldn't be outreach of anything.
Want to follow up with, how did you pull off getting Eminem?
Now, we all heard Terence Crawford saying he is ready to move to 154 in order to face Jermell Charlo, right? But now, it is being rumored that Terence Crawford does not want to give Errol the True Spence a rematch at the same 154. He wants the rematch to take place at 147. Since he has now become the A side, he is now determining terms that would favor him. He knows that when they move to 154, Errol the True Spence would gather some strength. I don't think Errol the True Spence would beat him, but he would be more stronger at 154. But why is Terence Crawford still insisting the fight happens at 147? Since Terence Crawford, admitted he also struggled in making the 147 division. Why doesn't he want to give Errol Spence a rematch at 154? That is the afterthought I'm talking about, and that will prove that trend will show up at the end of the video. Now, let's move on to 5 days after when he spoke to TMZ. Let's have a listen.
Want to play matchmaker, and the analysts want to play matchmaker. Everybody seems to be interested in seeing you and Canelo at some point. Obviously, there's a little weight difference. Is that something that interests you, though, down the line?
No, not at all. You know, like I said before, I've got that question many times before, and I stated then, and I'm gonna state it now. Like, Canelo is 2-weight class, 3-weight classes, 4-weight classes above me, because you don't know what way he fighting at when he fighting at it. he fighting at 78, so you know what I mean. We never know what weight Canelo fighting at, but at the same time, you know, Canelo really don't interest me because of the size.
Canelo don't interest me because of the size. Has the size advantage vanished on behalf of Canelo? No. So why is Terence Crawford now pushing for a fight in which he rejected days after he had beaten Errol the True Spence Jr.? Now, let's go to Breakfast Club TV and listen to what he said on the same Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I mean, everybody keeps bringing up Canelo. I think that's weird, you know, because you'd have to gain like, what, 20 pounds?
Yeah.
But they say that's the money fight. That's the mega fight. That's the money fight. That's the only thing that makes sense for Terence Crawford.
Well, you know what I mean? Catch weight. We can do something at a catch weight.
What weight you think?
Probably like 160 or something.
Cause you said you said 154 is the highest you want to go.
Yeah, 158, 160. That'd be cool.
12 days after, that was when he began to entertain the Canelo fight. Even with entertaining the Canelo fight, he wasn't looking forward for the fight at 168. He was looking for the fight at a catch weight of 158 or 160. Then the host pointed out to him, but you said your highest is 154. And he said, yeah, he would try and go to 160 to fight Saul Canelo Alvarez. Then what changed? Now, I'm trying to point out the hypocrisy of Terence Crawford to you, whilst he is trying to point out the hypocrisy of Saul Canelo Alvarez. Now, let's have a listen to what he, the same person, said about Gervonta Tank Davis on Hot 97.
So, no knock to Tank, but there's definitely levels, you know, and if he come up to 147 and he's thinking he's just going to knock Terence Crawford out, got another thing coming.
So that's the fight you would make happen? If he wanted to come up to 147?
Yeah, I'll stay at 147 for him. That's a big money.
That's a big fight, yeah.
It's a big money fight, you know. Yeah.
So Spence.
But then what? Everybody gonna say he was too small. Nobody gonna give me credit.
Yeah.
They're gonna say, "Oh man, you beat up a little guy that's fight at 135."
So, if you heard his opinion on Tank Davis before he was cut by the host, he was suggesting that he can't get that low. Would it be fair to him if Tank Davis goes about suggesting that he wants to fight Terence Crawford at a catch weight of 147, and Crawford has stated publicly that he can't go below 147, whilst Tank Davis keep pushing that narrative? Will it be fair to him? No. We are all in the same profession. We are all chasing greatness, but we must all respect each other as colleagues in the game. That is what I want from Crawford, because he is the one that has changed his mind, not Saul Canelo Alvarez. He is the one who has rethought all these actions from Crawford tweeting about Canelo docking him, which I'll bring to you, is an afterthought. He realized that he can make money with the Canelo fight, and he can also not want to fight Jamal Charlo. Jamal Charlo steps up to fight Canelo. He's beaten, and he, the one who regards himself as a better fighter, would keep rejecting that same person, that his opponent, whom he thinks he is better than, when to compete with. No, he can't keep doing that, and that would be regarded by the hardcore boxing fans as dog. So he did not want to do that. That was why Terence Crawford changed his lips. I have always known Terence Crawford to be a straight guy. He is a come forward, straight up guy and doesn't bullshit. But I think he is doing the same thing. When a fighter gets to the top, their attitude change. The same energy Keith one-time Terman was calling out Floyd Money Mayweather. When he became champion, he denied the likes of Errol Spence and Terence Crawford the opportunity because he wanted the big money fight. Like Terence Crawford said, even fighting Booth Ennis doesn't make sense to him because he has nothing to gain from the Booth Ennis fight, and that is how boxing is. And I understand the game. He should be fair to the others too. Yes, won't it be regarded as a dog if Terence Crawford fights Jamal Charlo instead of fighting Booth Ennis? No, because at the stage of his career, the Jamal Charlo fight makes more sense going a weight division up to capture multiple belts makes more sense than he staying at a weight and facing a fresher and a younger fighter in the person of Booth Ennis. He wouldn't do that. He's about 10 years difference with him and Booth Ennis, 26-36. He wouldn't do that. So he should understand it's business. Despite you seeking greatness, he should look at the business aspect of the game. Let's also Terence Crawford on Breakfast TV about Tank Davis.
So, no knock to Tank, but there's definitely levels, you know. And if he come up to 147 and he's thinking he's just gonna knock Terence Crawford out, got another thing coming.
So that's the fight you would make happen if he wanted to come up to 147.
Yeah, I'll stay at 147 for him. That's a big money.
That's a big fight. Yeah,
it's a big money fight. You know. Yeah.
So Spence.
But then what? Everybody gonna say he was too small. Nobody gonna give me credit.
Yeah.
They're gonna say, "Oh man, you beat up a little guy that's fight at 135."
All heard that. Terence Crawford was the first person to bring up the credits issue. He said he would stay at 147 to fight Tank Davis. That was about 12 days later, saying he is not interested in the Tank Davis fight. He's now saying that he would stay at 147 to fight Tank Davis because it's a big money fight. But people will not give him credit. If people will not give him, Terence, credit for beating Tank Davis, why does he think people would give Saul Canelo Alvarez credit if he beats Terence Crawford? Because people will then suggest that Canelo is only interested in smaller men because he has beaten Jamal Charlo, who is coming from 2 weight classes. And his next fight, he goes ahead and beats Terence Crawford. Looking at how he beats someone from the lower weight class, it will be very difficult to sell the fight, to convince people that Terence Crawford is different. Terence Crawford will come and put up a show. It is different. How convinced will people be? Somebody came from 2 weight class behind and was put up a very, very timid and shameful performance. What about you coming from 3 weight class below? You may look good at your weight class, but them guys hit big up there. And I'm sure that the punching power of Saul Canelo Alvarez was what made Jamal Charlo chicken in, because he did not want to get into any exchange in order to receive clear punches which would damage him. He just wanted to survive the fight, and people would be skeptical that if you wouldn't do the same thing. So you have said that you wouldn't get credit for beating Tank Davis because he is small. Saul Canelo Alvarez, just by the same logic, will not get credit if he beats you. Tank Davis is moving 2 weights up. You are moving 3 weights up. You are going to give up about 21 pounds. Yes, 21 pounds. Tank Davis would be giving less than that, because Tank Davis is fighting at 135 and you are fighting at 147. So that would be about 12 lbs. 12 lbs, you are saying you will not get credit, but 20 lbs is saying he will not get credit, and you are taming us as a dog. That is unfair. That is hypocritical. Terence Crawford is looking for the big money fight. Like he said in the Tank Davis interview, Tank Davis is a big money fight. Saul Canelo Alvarez is a bigger money fight. That is why he has thought of it, and that is why he is pushing it now. Now let me bring you the tweet that sparked the whole controversy, and it's a tweet from According to Boxing, the truth about Canelo Crawford. So not only did Canelo not have an issue with fighting Crawford coming up to fight him from 147, he was willing to come down from 168 to meet him at 160. Now let me bring you the tweet that sparked the whole controversy, and it's a tweet from According to Boxing, the truth about Canelo Crawford. So not only did Canelo not have an issue with fighting Crawford coming up to fight him from 147, he was willing to come down from 168 to meet him at 160. Notice Canelo never mentioned anything about not receiving credit for fighting Spence, nor not being a part of his plan. It continues, now that there's a more accomplished and capable boxer in Terence Crawford willing to meet him at his current weight for all his belts, the energy is different. You can't say it won't sell, so let's stop all the excuse and get Canelo Crawford going while the energy and momentum is here. Canelo knows Crawford is the most difficult opponent he could ever face. I don't think Crawford is the most difficult opponent Canelo can ever face. Canelo has faced Crawford, Floyd Money Mayweather and Triple G. Those two fights with Triple G were very, very difficult fights. So let's see. And this tweet, I think it's a propaganda tweet. It's a propaganda against Saul Canelo Alvarez, because all these tweets does not make sense. Saul Canelo Alvarez said he was willing to meet Spence at 160, and that was when he had first moved to the 168 division. So this was what actually sparked the whole controversy when Terence Crawford came to reply this tweet. Lafala, what's your thought on Canelo saying he can make a fight with Spence at 160, but for me, he says he can't make the weight? Wouldn't make a difference, just a thought. Now, Crawford is suggesting that Canelo is being hypocritical. Canelo wants to fight Errol Spence at 160, but is unwilling to fight him at 168. And it wouldn't make a difference. He would still beat him at that 168. This is where the hypocrisy comes in. Let's take note, Saul Canelo is now a fully fledged super middleweight. Making 160 right now would be extremely difficult for him, because even after this interview, in which he, as at the time he had it, that Terence Crawford is alluding to, he had just had one fight at the 168 division. That was with Callian Smith. He has then gone on to fight Yildirim, Sanders, then Plant, Bivol, GGG, Ryder, and Charlo. The Bivol fight was not even at 168. It was at even a higher weight, in which after that he had to come down and fight GGG. It would be very difficult for Saul Canelo Alvarez now to go to 160 to compete with Terence Crawford. It would be a very difficult. Why do I say that? Because after that, after he has said he can fight Spence at 160, when he was about to fight Dimitri Bivol, Saul Canelo Alvarez made adjustments to that statement. Let's have a listen.
Reports yesterday about a Errol Spence fight at 164, and I don't know if you heard about it. Anything you want to say about that report?
No, nothing. Like I said before, I don't want to do things like that, right? In cash weight 164, why me? I don't need to do that.
But what if it's at 60?
168.
Huh?
Canelo.
I don't need to do anything like that.
Canelo, people talk about.
So this was an update to what he has said earlier. Terence Crawford has ignored the current statement from Canelo stating that he can no longer fight Errol Spence at 160, even at a catch weight of 164, which he had earlier fought Julio Cesar Chavez. No, he says 168, and since then he has maintained that he would fight at 168. In conclusion, I think all these are afterthought from Team Crawford, for the simple reason that Terence Crawford started denying to fight Canelo right from the onset. He did not want the fight. But what happened? Canelo signed to fight Jamal Charlo. And since Jamal Charlo had the opportunity a fair opportunity to beat Canelo, and he, Crawford, was denying that he doesn't want to fight Canelo. That sounded like a dog in the eyes of the hardcores. You want to fight a guy who has moved 2 weight class to challenge an undisputed fighter. If that guy happens to win, you want to fight him. But if he loses, you don't want to fight the winner, and that wasn't looking good on the books of Crawford. So he then needed to start calling out Saul Canelo Alvarez. 2, he would be well paid fighting Canelo than facing any other person in the squared circle. He would be massively compensated and he will go home smiling. 3, this even spice up his legacy. That is why he is wanting the Canelo Alvarez fight. But let me ask a question. If David Benavidez, who is not a cash cow like Saul Canelo Alvarez, would Terence Crawford be willing to take up the challenge to fight David Benavidez? That is food for thought. Thank you for watching. Stay positive. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have not subscribed, please do. And if you have watched up to this point, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. Remember, your greatness has no limits.